Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Niconsat. The House of Representatives is currently deliberating on a bill to extend the time limit for prosecuting sexual offenses committed against girls under the age of 13. The bill, sponsored by the Representative Bitrus Laori, a member of the People's Democratic Party representing Damsa and Numan and Lamude Federal Constituency in Adamawa State, passed its first reading and is aimed at amending sections 218 and 221 of the Criminal Code Act. According to the existing section 218, any person who has unlawful carnal knowledge of a girl under the age of 13 years is guilty of a felony and is liable to imprisonment for life, with or without caning, but Laori said the time limit is inadequate. He noted that the 2-month period is not enough to gather the necessary evidence for a successful prosecution, adding that it gives offenders an escape route from facing justice if the case is not pursued within that time. Hence, he proposed in the bill the changing of the time limit to 2 years, giving authorities more time to collect evidence and prosecute offenders. The Niger State government issued a warning on Monday to residents of certain communities in the state, urging them to avoid going to farms to prevent falling victim to improvised explosive devices planted by bandits. Bandits killed 13 farmers in the Alawa community of Shiroro local government area of the state. The bandits were said to have tracked the farmers to the farms, killing them because they had provided intelligence on bandits' movement to security agencies. The State Commissioner for Homeland Security, Bello Abdullahi, issued the warning in Mina, the state capital, during the 2024 base social-cultural activities at the 0113 Quick Response Force, Nigerian Air Force, Mina. According to Abdullahi, the military must first clear the suspected mine-laden areas before locals can resume safe movement. The arrest of Alhaji Aishat Fasera Eledie by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is the latest conversation about the activities of drug lords and the NDLEA's efforts to tackle drug trafficking. The anti-drug agency arrested Elijah Eledie, a popular Lagos socialite, on Wednesday, 1st January 2025, following the interception and seizure of a truck conveying 44 jumbo sacks of imported cannabis. The 61-year-old Lagos socialite was arrested at her mansion in the Okota area of the state, following the arrest of Abidin Adio, her staff who drove the truck. In a statement released on Sunday, January 5th, the agency disclosed that Eledie is one of the drug cartel leaders operating from the Mushin area of Lagos. The police force headquarters has said that its operatives of the intelligence response team have arrested one Ogaga Dixon, 35-year-old, a member of the notorious armed robbery syndicate responsible for the death of CSP Hassan Jega, the DPO, Abajo Division, Delta State. It would be recalled that the DPO was killed on the 14th of October 2024 during a fierce gun battle between a team of police officers led by the deceased DPO and the assailants after the team of policemen had foiled one of their robbery operations. Force Public Relations Officer ACP Muyiwa Adejobi said the operatives had earlier stormed the gang's den and engaged them in a fierce gun duel, leading to the neutralization of 4 of the gang members. The force PRO said the operations are part of its effort to ensure the safety and security of all Nigerians by employing proactive, intelligence-driven strategies to combat crime have evolved improved strategies to combat crimes and criminality. Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Yahya has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to settling gratuity liabilities for state retirees. Yahya disclosed that 17.2 billion out of the 21 billion inherited from previous administrations have been cleared. Speaking at the presentation of checks and payment of backlog of gratuities to state retirees, Yahya disclosed that his administration was committed to workers' welfare. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, alongside other stakeholders in the party, have called for unity from the members of the party in Kano State. Ganduje, who made the call during the 8th and 9th APC members' Kano State House of Assembly Forum dinner, also urged the members to be united so as to wrestle power from the incumbent New Nigerian People's Party administration in the state. The Rivers State Police Command has confirmed that 18 people sustained severe injuries in a gas explosion that occurred in the Oroazi community of Port Harcourt. The incident happened on Sunday evening at a gas refilling shop, causing substantial damage to nearby buildings. This latest explosion is part of a series of gas and improvised explosive device incidents recorded in the state since 2024. The command spokesperson, SP Grace Irenge Ukoko, verified the incident. The National Association of Nigerian Students is mired in controversy over the allocation of compressed natural gas bursts donated to tertiary institutions nationwide. A faction within the student body, in a petition jointly signed by the Deputy Senate President Josefa Usman of the Dangote University of Science and Technology, Wudil, Kano State, the national ex-official member Anderson Owakwe of the Federal College of Land and Resources Technology, Owerri, Imo State, and the Vice President, Special Duties, Ebo John Paul Namachi, Enugu State College of Education, among other signatories, accused the National President, Lucky Emonefe, and the Association Senate President, Babatunde Afiz, of bias in the distribution process. The faction has also passed a vote of no confidence in the two leaders, calling on President Bola Tinubu to intervene urgently to prevent a breakdown of law and order and safeguard his political integrity. Also in the news, the Lagos State government has disclosed that the enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics, SUPs, will commence in the next 2 weeks. The Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, disclosed this while inspecting flood-prone areas and all ongoing projects, as well as new ones at the Lagos Island and its environs. Wahab had in December 2024 said the ban on the usage of straw foam and SUPs for packaging was banned, stating that the enforcement would commence from January 2025 following the increasing prevalence of plastic waste and its negative on the environment in recent years. On education, the West African Examination Council has announced a new initiative which will allow students to resit their WAEC papers as early as January and February 2025. This marks a significant shift from the previous system where candidates had to wait for the next private exam cycle. Head of Public Affairs at WAEC, John Kapi, disclosed this, explaining that the new program, referred to as WAEC PC1, provides a faster route for students to improve their grades, according to him, to aid candidates in their preparations. WAEC plans to expedite the release of Chief Examiner's report to provide detailed feedback on where students may have gone wrong and how they can better approach their studies and the examination process. Meanwhile, the University of Ilorin in Kwara State has said that it has introduced a system where unclaimed certificates could be collected through courier service. The registrar of the university, Mansour Alfanla, speaking with the newsman in Ilorin, described the move as upgrading to international best practices. According to him, this move will allow prospective collectors to receive their certificates through courier delivery. The registrar, in a memo dated December 18, advised all graduates of the university to collect their certificates before January 17, 2025, as graduates who failed to collect their certificates before the deadline would pay a fine of 3,000 naira per week before collection of the certificate. A civil society organization, the Movement for Anti-Corruption, Integrity and Transparency Initiative, has criticized former President Olusegun Obasanjo for his recent remarks about state-owned refineries and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited. The group, in a statement signed by the National President Goodwill Jackson and Secretary General Mohammed Kuda, alleged that the former president's comments were driven by personal grievances stemming from the reversal of refinery privatization during his administration. They added that Obasanjo's persistent criticism of state refineries was influenced by his failed attempts to privatize them before leaving office in 2007. Hence, they urged him to set aside personal grievances and contribute constructively to the nation's oil sector, emphasizing the need for support rather than undermining state-owned enterprises. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Cycle returns, former Central Bank of Nigeria director urges federal government to reduce cost of governance. We shall bring you those details as well as that of foreign and sports stories right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Troops of 6th Division Nigerian Army have dismantled additional 20 illegal refining sites in the Niger Delta region and confiscated no fewer than 190,000 liters of stolen crude. This is coming barely 8 days after the troops, in their continued onslaught against oil theft in the region, dismantled 20 illegal refining sites and confiscated 90,000 liters of stolen crude. Acting Deputy Director, 6th Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma Jonah, in a statement issued in Port Harcourt, said the operatives were conducted between December 30th, 2024 and January 5th, 2025. Danjuma stated that 11 suspected oil thieves were arrested, while 31 boats used for transporting stolen products were destroyed during the operation. In business, federal government has been urged to strategically reduce the cost of governance in 2025. A former director of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Titus Okurumu, gave the advice in an interview in Ota, Ogun, noting that the high cost of governance had led to increased recurrent expenditure. The former director of research at the CBN said that debt servicing by the federal government had consequently increased from 9.8 trillion naira in 2023 to 12.1 trillion naira in 2024. He said that the federal government should only borrow for capital expenditure to facilitate repayment through proceeds from projects. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited may continue servicing its crude for loan obligations till 2029 as the demand for oil by domestic refineries increases. NNPC's debt burden arises from several crude for loan agreements that have tied volumes of the country's oil production to various financial commitments. This is as the local demand for crude has continued to rise following the coming on stream of the Port Harcourt and Warri refineries alongside the mega $20 billion Dangote Petroleum Refinery located in Lagos. The Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund has developed a comprehensive program for the integration of the informal sector into the Employees Compensation Scheme. NSITF Managing Director Oluwaseun Falaye confirmed this in a statement by the NSITF General Manager, Corporate Affairs, Nwachukwu Ngige, saying the funds would tap into the immense potential of the informal economy in broadening access to its social safety net in line with the poverty alleviation agenda of the federal government. He also said that the national economy would benefit greatly if artisans, traders, and other small service providers were brought into the safety net of the ECS, noting that such move will drive national productivity and combat poverty. And moving to the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden has banned offshore drilling across an immense area of coastal waters weeks before President-elect Donald Trump takes office, pledging to massively increase fossil fuel production. The ban encompasses the entire Atlantic coast and eastern Gulf of Mexico, as well as the Pacific coast of California, Oregon, and Washington, and a section of the Bering Sea of Alaska. A White House statement said the declaration protected more than 625 million acres of waters, adding that the ban does not have an end date and could be legally and politically tricky for Donald Trump to overturn. Biden is taking action under the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act of 1953, which gives the federal government authority over the exploration of offshore resources. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre expressed concern over billionaire Elon Musk's recent comments regarding the internal affairs of European nations. Støre joined other European leaders in voicing unease about the actions of the ex-social media platform owner and ally of Donald Trump. This is not how democracies and allies should interact, Støre added when asked whether Musk might interfere in Norway's legislative election scheduled for September. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has increasingly supported far-right and anti-immigration parties across Europe, while criticizing leaders such as a British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Indian Maoist guerrillas killed 9 members of the security forces for detonating a roadside bomb that hauled their vehicle into the air, police have reported. More than 10,000 people have lost their lives in the decade-long insurgency waged by the rebels, who claim to be fighting for the rights of marginalized indigenous people in India's resource-rich central regions. Government forces have intensified efforts to suppress the long-running armed conflict, with approximately 287 rebels killed in 2024, according to official figures. Meanwhile, media reports has indicated that the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau may resign amid a growing dissent within his Liberal Party. According to reports, sources within Trudeau's party expect him to step down ahead of its National Caucus meeting on Wednesday. Trudeau's office declined to comment when contacted by AFP regarding the report, but reports indicate that if Trudeau resigned, his party would be left without a leader just months before the next legislative elections scheduled for the end of October. Almost 1.5 million Germans backed a police union push to ban fireworks on New Year Eve after the latest celebrations were again marred by deaths, injuries, and arrests. Critics have long sought to end Germany's raucous use of pyrotechnics to ring in the new year, citing safety concerns, but also air pollution and the traumatic effect on domestic pets. This year, 5 people died across Germany in accidents linked to legal and illegal fireworks, including powerful homemade devices, with many more people sustaining injuries. More than 100 police officers were reported injured nationwide, including about 30 in the capital, Berlin, which is known for its especially intense use of rockets and firecrackers, sometimes aimed at law enforcement personnel. Let's run into the world of sport. As the general transfer window remains open, European clubs are actively sourcing and finalizing deals to strengthen the squad for the second half of the season. This is as Napoli finalizes goalkeeper plans, as the club has settled its goalkeeper strategy and is set to sign a new contract that will Alex Meret at the club until 2026, with an option to extend until 2027, while Elia Caprilli will leave Napoli immediately to join Cagliari, and Simo Scoffey has been identified as Napoli's new backup goalkeeper. Meanwhile, Aston Villa has reportedly initiated talks to secure the services of Oscar Mingueza from Celta Vigo. The move is reportedly driven by the admiration of both Villa's board and head coach Unai Emery. Manchester United defender Diogo Dalot has said that he was turned into action by Ruben Amorim's plea for his senior players to step up and help pull the club out of their downward spiral. The Portuguese international impressed during United's 2-2 draw with Premier League leaders Liverpool on Sunday, as he gave Trent Alexander-Arnold a torrid time. Before the trip to Anfield, United manager Amorim had urged the leaders in the squad to step up to help the other guys who were sometimes afraid. Amorim's players responded with their best performance of his short tenure so far, ending a run of 4 straight defeats to offer hope of a brighter future after their dismal decline this season. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk has defended Trent Alexander-Arnold after his poor display against Manchester United, reacting and rejecting suggestions that Real Madrid's interest has had a negative impact on his teammate. Alexander-Arnold was at fault for Lisandro Martinez's opener in Sunday's 2-2 draw against Manchester United at Anfield, falling well below his usual high standards. The right-back's sloppy performance comes during a long-running debate over his future with the Premier League leaders. The 26-year-old's contract expires at the end of the season, meaning he can now sign a pre-contract agreement with overseas clubs. That's a wrap on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTime channel 276 and free to air on Nikon-Sat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen. At Global TV NG, I am Anthony Momodu. Thank you for watching.